Oh, but the Lakers say word's done. Late last night, LA continued what was already one of the most consequential weeks in franchise history by acquiring center Mark Williams in a trade with the Charlotte Hornets. That's what our Shams Charania reported. Now, Williams is averaging 16 and 10 on 60% shooting in 23 games this season. So let's just take a look at what this full deal looks like. The Lakers received the 2022 15th pick in return for their 2024 first rounder. Fans were a little concerned about this one. Dalton Connect headed out, Cam Reddish, and an unprotected first, and then the 2030 pick swap as well. So I'm here with our Brian Windhorst, Ramona Shelburne, Dave McMenamin. Dave, you and I were sitting at a press conference a couple of days ago when Luka Doncic was introduced, and Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, he said, or signified rather, we don't know that there is a center on the market that we would be willing to put our big chips in on. Fast forward, that is exactly what they did. Why did they see this as the move?
Luka got to L.A. on Sunday night. On Monday, he met with Rob Pelinka, and he said, listen, I need a big that I can play and have a lob threat. It could be a mobile screener. Go get me one. And Rob Pelinka listened to him and got him one. And Mark Williams, 23 years old, he's going to grow with Luka. And this is about the future of the franchise, but it's also win-now mode. LeBron and Luka have a lob threat.
Yeah, we heard Rob Pelinka say that the market for centers was dry, and I think it was. I don't think Mark Williams was actually available. I think the Lakers made him available by making an offer like this, and the Hornets couldn't turn it down. This is the bulk of their remaining assets. This is not a trade I think they would have made last week, obviously. I'm sure if you're Anthony Davis, you're saying, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I asked for a center for like a year, and now you guys go out and make this deal. He does have injury concerns. He's played 85 games in 2.5 seasons, but when he's on the court, he's the type of player that Dave was describing for Luka.
I will say this. The assets they were able to use in this deal are the assets that did not go to Dallas in the Luka deal.
That is exactly right.
Dalton Connect, obviously when Dallas first started having conversations with the Lakers, of course they asked for Dalton Connect. Of course they asked for both picks. But because they couldn't talk to Luka, because the Lakers couldn't loop in Luka and see if he wanted to be there, they were able to hold on more of their assets for a trade just like this.
Yeah, and now it's about not just bringing Luka in and trying to win in the now, but you got to get Luka to re-sign, right? And so this will be the type of player he's going to want to play with in LA beyond the next season and a half when he signs the new deal. That's very key here. And listen, the injury concern is valid to bring up. The Lakers believe that their new medical staff under Dr. Leroy Sims, who they hired in the offseason, can get under the hood there, get him ready to go, work on his core stabilization. I had one Lakers source tell me that Mark Williams may be only scratching 60% of its potential thus far.
I mean, he's 23.
I believe that's possible. I'm not sure that the injuries is simply wiped away, but I will say Lakers are probably not done. I don't know if they'll be able to execute a trade. They have Maxi Kleber, who they just acquired. Yeah. He is available. They have a second-round pick that he's available. I don't think they want to. I think they want to see how Austin Reeves plays, but we'll see how Austin Reeves meshes in with LeBron and Luka. That could be somebody who becomes available in the summer if that doesn't go perfect.
I just want to underscore what you said, Dave, that as much as this is the talk this week has been Luka and the future of the franchise, clearly what they're doing is saying, no, we also want to win right now. And that is exactly what Lakers fans want to hear. Fans also want to know, how is it going to look on the floor, right? So that's the intel from our reporters. But how is it going to translate to the court? That's where we send it over to Chene and Udonis Haslam.
Let's get it. You know why I'm here. We're here to break down the new look Los Angeles Lakers. And I got my big bro with me. Let's go, UD. Because this is super fun. Let's start first and foremost with the superstars, all right? And that, of course, is LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And what I love about this, too, this duo between LeBron and Luka, is they combined for 52 points already and 17 assists, which generates at least 86 points of offense between those two guys. So run me my tape. And I think what we can expect a little bit more is LeBron James as a screener. Yes. And what are these opportunities potentially looking like? First of all, there's a short roll, which I love, and then he can get to his bag and hit a mid-range. Yes. But if the short roll is not available, UD, what he's able to do is read. So again, he initiates the offensive side, but he's big, he rolls, and he creates for others. That's going to be Mark Williams, right?
Whatever you do is wrong.
Yeah, exactly, because he has that basketball IQ. But again, like you said, this man, he can see everybody that's open and available. He sets another screen right here, and he's able to see the far corner. You see that pin down screen inside?
And then you switch and you got a small guard on him.
That's a problem, but more importantly, that nice read, that short roll turns into a three-point shot. So obviously that's LeBron James as a screener. But now we got a new addition, y'all.
Yes.
It's Mark Williams, and y'all, he's my little brother. I've known him. I've known the Williams family, and they're super excited about this. So, UD, why don't you break down who the Lakers got at center, 23 years old, 15 and 10.
I'm almost more excited than this as a Luka trade because this opens up the whole court for Luka. He loves vertical spacing, and we know Mark Williams can give him vertical spacing.
And let's see what it looks like on the court when he plays, of course. And so watch this. Yeah.
Come up, you set the pick and roll. Just give him a little bit. He doesn't even have to sprint to the basket because he has length, so he can get up to above the rim and go vertical at any point. That wasn't even high-paced pick and roll. That wasn't even fast. Now you come here. That's a la Derek Lively. That's what he loves. Now he goes. He gets two people on him. We know Luka can get independent against anybody. Just throw it up there. Just throw it up there anywhere. When you have a guy like Derek Lively or a guy like Mark Williams who has the longest standing reach in the NBA, yes, longer than Wemby, he can go get it at any point.
But there are two tiny little red flags. It might be right here with Luka and a little bit with Mark. We don't really worry too much about it, but I'll show you exactly what we're talking about because we know Luka Doncic, defensively, he will be challenged, especially when you see, you know, we talked about those numbers, the blow-bys. He's going to have to get low.
LeBron James will hold him accountable.
Absolutely. So this is an example right here. First and foremost, he goes out there, he sort of gambles, he's out of his stance, he sprints out defensively. This is the area that will keep them competitive. There's a blow-by, again, the last 2 years, 44.7% of, his possessions, he was blown by.
You have 9-9 standing reach back there on the back line.
And people have been concerned because...
Take the second from being in that championship conversation.
I do. And it's a team we don't talk about a lot, but they always making a lot of noise. They have a young superstar. They have an all-star NBA, all-NBA caliber player, the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies are one move away from really looking. It seemed like, again, when I look at their team, I'm going back to that wing. You have Ja, you have Desmond Bane, you have Jaren Jackson Jr., but you need that 6'7", 6'8", maybe 6'9" guy that could knock down the three. And I know they hard to find, but the Memphis Grizzlies, they'll move away.
And by the way, let's just clear something up. Perk, how long have I known? 20 years?
What do we have?
Come on, people think we...
I don't care, Bob. Listen.
Okay, just want to let people know. First time I saw you, Santa Monica Gym, 18 years old. You couldn't jump off the ground like that.
Bob made me like $42 million.
So we'll be friends forever.
So is there a team that needs to acquire permanent?
Listen, Memphis knows what he said because that's why they tried on Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
They tried on Kevin Durant. Problem is, this is what I hate saying, is like those guys said no.
That was kind of just news that just came out of Bob's mouth there about Memphis and Kevin Durant. But
well, look, my point is like they like guys. They tried to get guys. They know, and it just didn't happen.
But why are you saying no if it's about winning a title?
I mean, but like Perk said, that's the most important position in the league. Those long, wiry Swiss Army knife guys that can switch pick and rolls and guard multiple positions, you need those guys because defense is what's going to win championships. When you get in the finals, ain't nobody running no plays you ain't never seen before. It's can you stop it? And you need guys like that.
Memphis has been trying so hard. We have 20 minutes. Maybe they'll do a deal. They tried to get Dorian Finney-Smith. They tried to get Cam Johnson. They tried to get Jimmy Butler. They had a trade construction that I think the Heat would have gone for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy said he didn't want to extend there. Bob says that they tried for Kevin Durant.
Well, hey, I mean, I heard.
Can you blame him?
Wendy, do you think? Okay, well, you knew, I guess. I was going to say, if I'm them, I call.
Of course.
I'm sure they call.
Yeah, of course.
So the Grizzlies are certainly one of them. Bob, if you were to, head away from your best friend Perk and back into the general manager business, is there one team that you would walk into and say, hey, we're one move away right now?
Yeah, this is not going to be I'm going to do Wendy's little speech here. This is going to be a popular answer. I think Oklahoma City. And that's a sign of respect. I think if they get a Cam Johnson type player, because the only flaw for them, they only have one, in my opinion. It's outside shooting. That's it. And there's a difference between being a team that can shoot in the regular season and a team that can shoot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the one guy that I think is a stone-cold shooter is Isaiah Joe. He's a stone-cold shooter.
Yes.
Other than that guy right there, he's a scorer. He's not a shooter. And that's fine. He's maybe going to be MVP, meaning Shai Gilgeous. But after that, Jalen Williams can make a three. Lou Dort can make a three. They got guys that can make threes, Chet Holmgren. But do they have guys that can make a three with no space in a big moment? And that's the only thing. And I wonder if that's going to be in the playoffs when you get into the half-court basketball, the thing that knocks them out, because they have everything else.
And playing, and probably most likely playing too big. So you're going to need all the spacing in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, so they did make a major acquisition today of a 7'1" center.
Yeah, they are getting Chet back.
Chet Holmgren. So that's
that helps.
That's their answer to that, Bob. I will say this. I remember having a conversation with Masai Ujiri as he was winning the 2019 championship. And he said, I'm sorry to bring that up. And he said, what I've learned is that even when you think you have a good team, you always need more.
Yeah.
You can't believe you always need more. And that was what he talked about as he went and got Marc Gasol to add to Kawhi Leonard. I think what the Thunder believe is that their timeline is so long.
Yeah, but you know how that goes, right? Yeah. Their timeline was huge when they lost to the Heat. Remember that team? They were supposed to be in the.
Well,
you remember that team?
Yeah.
You know, Memphis had a timeline.
These guys remember that team.
Yeah.
You just don't bring up losing championships.
Okay,
You want to bring it up to them.
But now, and I think when you look at Cleveland, they knew that. Like, they know that they have a time frame, but they know they could actually win it now. Even when I was with the Celtics, we had already won 58 games before we went out and got a P.J. Brown last minute to add to the roster in the late addition of a Sam Cassell, right? Because you want to go into the postseason, especially when you're making a title run, with as much depth as you possibly can.
Yeah.
All 12 guys capable of getting in.
But this is really the aprons at work, and I know it's kind of a bummer to talk about aprons on deadline day because it messes it up. But
part of the deal.
The Thunder have to pay all these guys.
Yeah.
They have to pay Shea. They have to pay Chet. They have to, they've already extended Alex Caruso.
That's right.
They got to pay Jalen Williams, and so it's got to be careful. They can't bring in a guy that totally, handcuffs them.
Yeah.
So
True.
they have to balance.
It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about OKC needing to make moves to meet the salary floor. Do you remember that? And now, all of a sudden, they are that team. I think about a week ago, well, less. As soon as the Lakers acquired Luka Doncic, that was sort of the conversation. Okay, maybe the Lakers are just a move away. And then they went out and got Mark Williams, a center. We've been asking for them to do that. Where do you see them and their run here now, Bob?
Yeah, their defense wasn't great with Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is one of the best defenders in the league, at least top 5.
Yes.
And Mark Williams, as good as he's been as a young player, that rim protection, and you guys talk about it, Udonis, he is long and he is big, but he has not shown an ability yet to protect the rim.
Longest wingspans in the league.
Which is fine if you don't. Yeah, but
that's longer than Wemby's.
Longer than Wemby, yes.
Yeah, and that helps. But now he's going to have to anchor. This is fine. You can do this, and this is great. But can you protect the paint in a playoff game? Because they're going to. The best thing I think the Lakers have going, Malika, is they have 2 guys in a close game that are maybe. Well, one of them's one of the best ever to create for himself, LeBron, and Luka's, in this generation, maybe one of the best ever to do it, to create his own shot. So in a close game, which in the playoffs, it comes down to a lot of close games. Can you execute at the end? The Lakers have 2 fantastic options.
Yes.
But I always worry if your main strategy is to outscore your opponent. And the Lakers' defense is going to have to change and become a lot better if they want to go far.
Well, in the last 11 games, the Lakers have been about 3rd in defensive rating. So losing Anthony Davis might have set them back a little bit. But what I will say is we all know that Luka's at his best with vertical spacing.
Yes.
And defense love to overreact. All he needs to throw is 2 lobs and guys start sucking in, opens up the floor, he starts to spray threes. Is he the best defender? Hell no.
Right.
But what we do understand is defense is 5 guys on the string. Shrink the elbows, rotate, pull triggers, and everybody got to be moving.
Let me ask you guys this. Obviously, everybody loves Doncic's game, LeBron and Austin Reeves. Who's going to suffer the most? Because they're all 3 on.
Austin Reeves got to suffer.
Austin Reeves,
And how much is it going to be? Is he going to be a spot shooter?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's going to be a spot shooter.
That's not the best way to use him.
Luka at the top of the key. Austin Reeves spot up. We
fine.
put LeBron in the dunker.
So
you go set the screen, Mark. I can coach that team.
Yeah.
Look, so here.
Got JJ.
This is the thing about Mark Williams. Do I think he have potential? Absolutely. Like, he provides the athleticism. But look, it's a different stage going from playing with the Hornets, where there's not that many butts in the seat, to playing with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay, playing under the bright lights, there's going to be national televised, international superstar, and then on top of that, the pressure. I don't think people realize what it feel like to share a locker room and walk on the floor every single day with a guy like LeBron James.
And
that's a different type of pressure.
That's the best thing that happened to Luka Doncic.
Yes.
To watch LeBron James for however long LeBron wants to play.
And that's what they're betting on.
And that's what they're betting on. And look, I haven't talked a lot
That's
about
a
this
good
trade.
gamble.
Here's what happened. Dallas didn't think Luka was going to change. The Lakers do. It comes down to that. Dallas said, we're done. We don't think this guy's ever going to get it. No matter how you slice it, that's why they, in my opinion,
Yes.
Right, they're
the
betting
Lakers are
against
going, well,
Luka.
he's going to be better with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out, especially when they take the floor for the first time. For more on that, let's check in with our front office insider, Bobby Marks. He's got the 3D lineup fired up.
Well, I mean, this is their lineup right now. Look how good defensively. I mean, defensively, we put Jared Vanderbilt in there, certainly with Mark Williams and then LeBron. And I know there's some concern with Austin Reeves and certainly Luka, but I had a general manager make this comment. Listen, the trade deadline is now the new free agency. If you're going to want to go out and get players, you're going to do it at the deadline. Free agents are not available, marquee free agents. And I think when you look at it, certainly from the Lakers' perspective here, the one concern, okay, shooting. Do you have enough shooting off your bench with your backcourt when you look at Shake Milton and certainly Gabe Vincent? Here's another thing. The picks don't matter. And I had another general manager tell me that. The picks do not matter. If your goal is to go out and sign Luka this offseason, you're doing everything possible. 2031 doesn't matter to the Lakers. It means a lot to Charlotte. Doesn't mean a lot to the Lakers.
But that's what LeBron James and company have been saying for a little bit. And now with Luka here, all of a sudden, those moves are being made.
Let me think. Coach Haslam over here, he's got the Lakers offense figured out. Do you like that starting lineup? Because there's not a lot of shooting. I'm not saying Luka can't shoot and LeBron can't read, but I know Vanderbilt and Mark Williams ain't taking any shots. And who's playing two non-shooting bigs anymore? Not many. Nobody.
Well, maybe
No, I'm just asking.
You get Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. He's been knocking down the three.
Okay, well.
One thing I will say is this. I've been watching J.J. Redick all season long, right? Because I've been wanting to see what the hell he's going to do. He's been coaching his ass off.
He's been great. Yeah. Really good.
The way what he has done, and especially unlocking a lot of these players in that offensive sets, he's getting better defensively. But again, he got a great defensive-minded coach on his bench, and Scott Brooks, who I played under, who knows the defense in and out. And again, man, this Laker team is going to be hard.
How far are they going?
In a seven,
I'm just.
Don't nobody want to see him in a 7-game series.
How far?
I promise you that.
Where do you think they end up? I'm just asking.
I mean, to me, right now, their ceiling is the conference finals.
Okay.
And that's not a bad ceiling.
It's great.
Very capable. I agree with Perk. They're very capable of going to the conference finals.
Right.
And I wish all these idiots out there would stop with LeBron and Luka can't play alongside one another. That's the most asinine thing to say.
I would say this to that point.
Guys.
I'm not going to call anybody an idiot.
That's fine.
I know, but look, I will say what I think they may be trying to say is, do they complement each other perfectly? I'm going to say I don't think they complement each other perfectly, and that's not a not. But can they play together? Yeah, I mean,
two of the smartest. We had the same thing with Bron and D-Wade.
Yeah, I mean,
we had the same thing with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
That's right.
And we watched
Ron
it.
and Rondo.
And they had to work it out, and they figured it out.
The same thing with Bron and Rondo.
This was Luka on the court yesterday at Lakers practice for the first time. We, of course, are tracking. Will he make his debut Saturday, potentially Monday?
Look about 260.
We're certainly keeping an eye on that. But, my friends, do you see the clock at the top of your screen? We're just over 7 minutes away now from the trade deadline. We're really getting right down to it here. There's only a couple of minutes left for teams. In these last couple of minutes, Bob, I mean, are you still on the phone at all?
One time I was playing basketball. I mean, Malika, the goal is to not be busy right now. That's what you work for. You're scrambling right now. Something's not great, or you're selling assets, or you got to get something done. So no,
So you're Tim Connolly. You're chilling. You're Denver.
I mean,
you're chilling. You're Calvin Booth. You're chilling.
No, I don't. I mean, who's chilling right now? I know this team has played not as well lately. Boston, they're hanging out.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're good.
They're good.
They're good. But otherwise, you got to work.
And honestly, I'm looking at Milwaukee, and you got Connaughton over there, and you got Bobby, and I know the fans love Bobby, but we talked about them might be in their recruits, but if they make one more move, I'm seeing them in the East, and they could be there.
Yeah. There is a little bit of maneuvering now that'll go in for buyout guys.
Yep.
There's been some teams.
Who do you think the biggest buyout candidate is?
Dennis Schroeder.
You think he's the best one on the market?
Schroeder just got traded again, by the way, while we were talking.
He's still on the move.
He's now
from
a
Utah?
Detroit Piston.
We still got 7 more
Man.
minutes.
Man, I can't keep up.
Actually, something was interesting. Some people in the league thought that Lonzo Ball would hit the market.
Great.
And that would have been
story.
a very aggressive guy tracked in the buyout market.
Yeah.
But he agreed to an extension yesterday or the day before. It's good for him.
Yeah.
He's off the market. So we'll see. But some teams like Milwaukee did make a deal today to clear a roster spot. Cleveland's deal cleared 2 roster spots at about $2 million under the tax line. You can see some teams that are contenders that are starting to make moves to open up the last phase of transaction season, which is the buyout market.
Bob, you may not have been making calls when you were in that seat. Your team was at the top of the standings. I know our friend Bobby Marks at various points during his front office tenure, he was making calls.
2 quick things. When we traded Kevin Garnett to Minnesota in 2015, that's when KG had that no trade clause. I think we were using fax machines then. We actually had to fax Minnesota that Garnett was actually waiving his no trade clause, and we got that in 3 minutes before the deadline. But real quick, regarding the buyout market, here's one name to keep an eye on: Ben Simmons, from Brooklyn, who's on that $40 million expiring contract. Keep an eye on Ben Simmons. The twist, though, comes with, remember, these first and second apron teams won't be allowed to sign him because his contract makes more than $12.8 million. But keep an eye once we get past the deadline on Ben Simmons and Brooklyn.